Alright guys, I'm Jesse, this is Melissa,
Hey.
and we are...
Adventure Endeavor.
Yeah, what she said, we are Adventure Endeavor. This is a slightly different video for us. We've never really done like a full sit-down type video, but it's been raining in Southern California for like the past week, and so we figured it'd be a good time. We've been wanting to do this for a while, just so people could get to know us a little bit more. And...
so we're going to tell you about why we RV.
yeah, so this video is why we RV, how we got started.
How we got into this whole crazy lifestyle.
Yeah, and everything in between. And we want you guys to make sure you subscribe and let us know in the comments why you RV and why you got started and how you got started. There's so many different things that come into play. I think our reasons are a little bit different from most, but that doesn't matter. We're just curious what everybody's reasons are.
So our lives were pretty typical for suburban America, suburban California at least. You know, we did all of the things that everyone says that you're supposed to do. We got married, we bought a house, and we had good jobs and all of those things. But we really loved to travel a lot.
You know, we were doing everything right and everything that you were supposed to do in life. And we found that constantly we were, I mean, she was maxing out time off.
Yep.
And it seemed like it was getting to a point where we were, you know, hardcore weekend warriors, and we were just constantly making our trips longer and longer and longer, and we'd be home for like a couple days, and we had this nice big fancy house, and we were like, we barely live in this house. Like, what's the point, you know?
Mm-hmm. We loved to travel and explore. I mean, pretty much every opportunity we had, we were getting away on the weekends, going further and further away. We had our Ford Explorer that we used for off-roading a lot, but it got to a point where we felt like we had reached like a max amount of...
a radius
around Southern California that we could reasonably get to within 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And we didn't really want to go much further away with that vehicle because it wasn't super reliable.
Yeah, so it was an older vehicle, and it was built to go in the desert fast through whoop sections, and it was great at that, and it was pretty good overall. It was reliable for the radius that we were going into, but we kept realizing that we wanted to go to Utah, we wanted to go to Oregon, we wanted to go to these other places. Oh, hi Zamboni. And so we ended up selling the Explorer, and then we got the Ram 2500, and we did all sorts of off-road, overlanding, camping, 4x type stuff to that truck.
Mm-hmm. It was a lot more reliable, a lot more comfortable to go longer distances and longer amounts of time.
Yeah, so it was the perfect vehicle for that, and that just kept evolving as well.
We both lived in our hometown for about 30 years, and it was a nice place. It had all the conveniences. It was where we met originally. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, we couldn't help but wonder what more was out there.
So always just kind of wondering what's out there, always like in a sense wanting more. I mean, we were very happy, our relationship's always been amazing. You know, I think living in the same town your whole life.
Yeah, we had an amazing community of people, amazing lives, honestly. Like, we were happy for the most part, but we kind of questioned right around turning 30 whether we were going to live in the same town our whole lives.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. So, you know, you have that, you get married, you have the house, next thing is kids, but at the same time we're like, do we want to live, you know, in our hometown our whole lives? And there's just so much that you start to contemplate, right?
And the more you get out of your hometown, your comfort zone, I guess, the more you realize is out there to explore and to learn about. So I guess the more we traveled, the more we wanted to keep traveling and keep exploring.
Yes, exactly. Then for us, we had something pretty tragic in a sense. Now looking back, we call it a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, it was a unfortunately very traumatic experience. In October of 2017, we were unfortunately at the Route 91 Harvest Festival in Las Vegas. What started out as a really great weekend with friends, unfortunately ended in a terrible tragedy. with the mass shooting, and we very narrowly escaped with our lives and just a few minor injuries.
Yeah, so I've touched on it on a previous video. If you guys have, been subscribed like you're supposed to, I've gotten definitely have some PTSD from that. I mean, we were right up front, probably in like literally the worst place possible, but I mean, essentially some miracle, I guess, some blessing, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you believe.
We walked away physically with a scraped knee, and physically that was it. I mean, I don't know. It's still hard to talk about, and it's been a while.
There was quite a bit of emotional trauma, just from the things that we saw and having to
experienced and
right. We had the very real situation of potentially dying ourselves or potentially losing each other.
Yeah, it's still tough. I mean, 1 minute you're there, you're listening to country music, you're singing along,
having
and then all of a sudden everything just changes, and that changes you, and it changes your outlook on life. So, I mean, initially I dove into work. My brother works in the studios, and I was like, I'm gonna get in the union, I'm gonna make all this money, because I thought I needed to make money, so if anything ever happened to me, she would be taken care of. So I just went work for like a year and a half straight. And after we went on a backpacking trip with some friends, I realized I wasn't happy doing that. I mean, it wasn't what I wanted to do, it wasn't where I wanted to be.
So we had spent about the first year after that event kind of processing it and going to therapy and trying, I guess, various forms of treatment, but we definitely both dove into work. I got myself a promotion at my job, so we were both
like, we were hiding from it
in a way. I mean, like, I felt like we were dealing with it in some ways, but
I wasn't.
Okay, well, I was dealing with it in some ways, maybe a little bit more healthy ways.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a guy, like, you're not supposed to talk about your feelings, but, like, come on, guys, just talk about your feelings. It's way easier. After we did, fast forward a little bit, we did, our original 6 months on the road. When we came back, I started going to therapy, and then that, almost 2 years later, that, like, really started to help. So don't be afraid to talk about that. Like, that's old school. It's fine to talk about it. It's hard, but it's fine to talk about it.
As much as I encouraged him to work on it and to go to therapy or to try just different things that could be therapeutic, it was pretty difficult to get him to agree, but he had to come to that realization on his own, and I'm proud of him.
Oh, thanks, babe. And so we went on this backpacking trip with some friends, and we started talking about it, and then she started like thinking about the idea of trying to see if her work would let her go remotely. And after a lot of talk and a lot of different stuff, eventually they granted her 6 months remote work. She's working full-time on California time. And we're like, okay, let's do it. It starts this date. And, having our house, we went ahead and we bought our first fifth wheel. And then we rented out our house. Well, got a contract signed, and then we had to downsize everything, and it all happened really quickly. It was pretty wild, really.
And I think we could have decided on the road travel thing being like a big part of what we felt like we needed because of the trip prior to that, summer of 2018, I believe it was. We went on a big road trip with our friends Tucker and Caitlin up into Canada through the Pacific Northwest and everything, and there was actually a few days during that time that we felt, I guess,
that's
the best that we had felt in the previous year.
It's a good point that I forgot about. We were on that, like, a 2-week road trip, and it was fast-paced. I mean, we were driving, like, 6 hours per day minimum. But I remember in the middle of it, like, not really thinking about Las Vegas and everything that had happened. So it was kind of like, oh, maybe this is something that, being more nature and a little bit of less hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
Stuff like that,
Yeah, we felt that I don't know whether you might call it a distraction or or what, but we felt at the time that traveling, essentially like a long road trip, was kind of the answer. To help us heal from our trauma.
So we basically realized that life is extremely short. When you have, an experience like that, you're like, wow, like, and it changes perspective on everything. Like, like getting assets like a house and cars and things and stuff, like, that's all great, but you need to live your life. Like, and that's whatever it is for whoever. That's
whatever that means for
we're figuring it out daily. I mean, we talk about this, we talk about that, like, all sorts of different things. I mean, we don't even know.
Yeah, we definitely still don't have all the answers, but
basically, I mean, in a nutshell, we're just trying to, I don't want to say like live every day like it's your last, like, like that cliche thing, but in a sense, like, I don't know. I mean, you can work towards just stacking up your bank account and stuff like that, or we're thinking experiences. Like, experiences for us are key. Mm-hmm. And it's there's just so much that goes into it. And
I think we've always valued experiences over stuff and things, but we were sort of getting trapped and caught into the consumerist, I guess, ideals. And I
mean, when we left, we had the Ram, we had a Subaru, we had a Prius, and we had a big house, mortgage, mm-hmm. and stuff, and extra payments, and Netflix, and this and that, and like so many things, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just drowning in this money, and that's what you think you're supposed to do, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah.
So
things that just accumulate, and you're told that you want all of these things, and so you go out and buy the next big thing to make you excited, to make you happy. That's a big thing
that we realized is, like, we didn't realize we would, start to feel, I don't know, I guess depressed or sad or whatever you want to call it, and then I would go out and buy something, like, oh, I bought a new this or a new that, and it brings you joy for a short period of time, and then you take a step back, and you get sad again for whatever reason, because you're not really being fulfilled, mm-hmm. and then you take a step back and you're like, wow, I have a lot of stuff that I don't ever use anymore. Mm-hmm. Why did I buy it? Oh, I bought it because I was like not super happy.
And I would do the same thing with clothes for sure. Like,
oh my gosh.
I would go clothes shopping and would just come home with a bunch of stuff that I really didn't need, but I wouldn't really get rid of anything else because we had so much space in our big house that I just kept everything.
Our house is a 4-bed, 3-bath, huge master bedroom, walk-in closet, like, ridiculous. And now we live in a fifth wheel and we still have a big closet and everything, but it's just like, it's crazy.
We definitely settled into this smaller space.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, less truly is more, and that's like, I don't know. Everybody says that, but it's true.
I wouldn't necessarily call us like ultra minimalists.
No, not at all. We have a lot of stuff.
We do, but we definitely, I think, realize like what's more important, and we focus on the essentials now.
Yeah, and for me, I used to be like an impulse shopper, buyer. And now I will like really like I'll get a thought of like, oh, like it'd be cool to have this or that, and I really take my time and I'll wait 6 months before I buy something. Now I'll start talking to her like, hey, I was thinking of this, like, what do you think? And we'll just mull it over, talk about it for a long time. So and then sometimes we just say, no, we don't need it, and we won't get it. Or sometimes we're like, oh, that's 4 times in this month we could have seen ourselves using that thing. Mm-hmm. So it's just being more conscious of your purchases.
Definitely more conscious and more intentional, I would call it.
Yeah, intentional. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, with everything that we bring into our lives now or choose to spend money on, because we would much rather spend money on
experiences.
Yes, going to places and maybe doing like a museum or a tour of learning about some new place that we're in.
Or spending money to go see friends and family around the country. That's one thing. When you first take off, you think, we're going to see these places, which is cool. But for us, that kind of wore off. And now you're like, let's go see this place. But that place is going to be awesome because so-and-so is like right around the corner. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like one of those hand in hand. But
yeah, I would say that was one of the hardest things of leaving our hometown was the awesome community of friends and family that we had here. But yeah, we were able to travel throughout the country and visit so many friends and family in other places, and people that we had never been to visit, didn't know what their hometown looked like.
And really spend time.
Actually spend, good quality time with them, rather than when they would maybe pop back to our hometown for a quick weekend visit or something.
Yeah. I've found, trying to help with like my mental health, that I just want to be better in all aspects of life. And I think that's something that we kind of, when you get caught up in the motions and the hustle and bustle of normal daily life, a lot of people don't take care of themselves mentally, physically, and I've realized that I just want to be better in general. I've talked on that on a couple other videos. I've touched on that. So for me personally, I stopped drinking. I haven't had anything to drink in 2 years. Over 2 years now. That's crazy. And I don't need it. I don't want it. And I'm more outgoing now. I probably have more confidence now. I'll get up and dance in front of a loud crowd, a large crowd. No big deal. Where before I was like, I need to have a couple drinks to loosen up, and that's a myth. Like, you don't need drinks, and we're not saying don't drink. Like, if you want to drink, that's cool. But I was starting to do it for negative reasons, so I just quit cold turkey. We discovered keto. Well, I discovered keto.
I jumped on the bandwagon with him.
Because like when you stop drinking, then you're like, well, I might as well be healthier, So then I started working out and working out more, I guess, and trying to be healthier. And I came across keto, so now I'm super restrict myself.
We've been doing keto for about almost 2 years now.
I'm actually currently doing carnivore right now. 1 week carnivore. If you don't know what that is, it's basically meat only. It's weird.
Gosh.
But no booze, work out daily, do the ketogenic diet. So all these things, I feel like I'm a better person, and I feel like my outcome and outlook on life seems much better. Along with travel, along with more nature, along with more hiking, less consumerism. Just so many things that pile on. So
you might have heard of the keto diet and maybe asking yourselves, these guys are thin, why did they do keto? Well, we didn't used to look this way.
I'll put a picture right here. That's us. That's old school us right there.
Yeah, so, we both had a few extra pounds here and there, and I had
a lot of extra pounds.
We just decided that we wanted to make a change, and we weren't happy in our bodies, and we wanted to make a change, and so we realized how, after doing it for a few months, we realized like how big of a difference it was making all around, not just in weight loss, but in
mentally.
Mental clarity.
It's insane.
General inflammation in the body had gone down.
Yeah.
My allergies got better. Like, my asthma got way better.
Yeah. Like she says a lot, she always will say, we did it starting to lose weight, and then now, like, we continue for the inflammation and for the headspace is much better.
Yeah. And never being hungry is nice.
Yeah, that's nice. But yeah, so that's just kind of why we RV, our story. I don't know, we don't really know how long we want to do it for. I mean, obviously we just got a newer rig. We've been in this rig for about 6 months. We're only in the first one for 6 months as well. But this one seems like it's, it's set up for a long-term setup for us. Like, it has higher water capacity, it has a separate office space.
Onboard generator.
Yeah, it's a little more suited for our needs because, you learn when you get your first rig.
We've definitely learned a lot in this past year of RVing, I would say. It's definitely not easy, and despite what we thought in the beginning, it's not a cure for mental health issues. It helped in some ways, but in some ways I would say it maybe made things a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
But we also, I guess we also realized that we needed to be a little bit more social.
Yeah.
Than we were for a good portion of the time.
Yeah.
So basically, what RVing is about for us is getting outside of our comfort zone and finding reasons to say yes to more things and challenge ourselves in new ways.
Yes.
Are you saying yes just to say yes?
But say yes to things. You have no idea, like, if it scares you, it's probably worth doing, and that doesn't mean, like, go jump off cliffs, like, go skydiving. Like, do it if you want, but what that means is like somebody on Instagram reaches out to you and says, hey, let's meet up. Like, say yes. Like, don't be scared. They're probably a nice person. I mean, you know.
Most people that we came across were super nice people and willing to help out. So there are way more nice people, friendly people in the world than there are bad people.
It's pretty amazing. We've never come across a bad person. But speaking of saying yes, when I ask you to subscribe, when I say, hey, you should subscribe, you just, yes. And then hit the bell as well. Like, it helps us out.
Hit that like button, thumbs up.
Yeah, all that good stuff. And like I said, really let us know. We want to talk to you guys why you started RVing. I mean, a lot of people do it for finances. A lot of people do it because they just want to take a year and go RVing or travel in general. Let us know. For us, it was like a mental health thing. That's why it started. And then now, I think one of the biggest reasons now is like to meet new people. Like
and to constantly challenge ourselves to get outside of our comfort zone.
Yeah, say yes to things, meet new people, get out of our comfort zone. All great reasons. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Yeah, if you have any questions, please let us know down in the comments.
Yeah, let us know, and it's a great way to live.
Yeah, we like it. So let us know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.
Remember, be casual. Be casual.
Casual.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.